On this episode of Locked On Angels, the Angels fall to the Brewers last night. We share some medical info on Trout's recovery, and we talk about that Zack Netto leg kick and when he's using it and when he's not. It's time to get locked on with Mike and John, and this is Locked On Angels.
You are Locked On Angels, your daily Los Angeles Angels podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, it is, and yes, we are. Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SiriusXM by searching Locked On Angels. And if you'd like to give back to John and I, the Super Halo Bros, for all the Super Halo content, here's some things that you can do. Leave us a rate and a review on Apple Podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. And if you're not subscribed already, please subscribe and become a Locked On Everydayer. And whether you're watching or listening, come over to YouTube, leave a comment. It's really one of the best ways to get in touch with us and be a part of the conversation. And today's show is brought to you by Tax Network USA. Did you know that it's never too late to resolve your tax issues with the IRS? Don't wait. Reduce your tax debt and get help from a team of licensed tax professionals. You can call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/lockedon.
You said never too late, and I thought you were going to break into never too much, never too much, never too much.
Nope, don't know.
Nope. Oh, really?
I don't.
Oh,
what is it?
I gotta educate you now. What's going on, everybody? It's Locked On Angels here with the Frisch Brothers. My name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
You still got to tell me what it is. My name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
now I can't remember. I screwed myself up. Hold on. Oh, no, hold on. I know what it is.
He's looking.
I'm looking.
This is great for the audio side.
Oh, Luther Vandross. Thank you.
Luther Vandross.
Yeah.
Huh. I don't remember that.
So good.
And I worked at an easy listening radio station.
I know.
I should know these things.
Right, on with the show. Hey, it's our third season here at Locked On Angels. We thank you for making Locked On Angels your first listen every single day. We've been fans of this team for years, and we've seen it all, Michael. I think that we could say that. We got the PTSD of Angels baseball going on. Hey, on today's show, we're going to talk about Zack Netto's leg kick. He's been a little bit more selective there, Mike, and how he's using it. And then, of course, Andrew from Angels Top Plays is now a doctor, Michael.
Dr. Andrew.
Dr. Top Plays is here, and he's going to be here in segment 2 to discuss Trout's recovery and the time it's been taken. But first, let's talk about the definition of a pitcher's duel last night between the Angels and the Brewers.
Yeah, the Angels lost that game last night 2-0. John, they did the exact same thing in the exact same way that they did the night before, except on offense, there was no rally in the ninth inning. They just weren't able to come through last night. And it was a shame because Tyler Anderson pitched a heck of a game, didn't he?
Did you see Taylor Ward hit it to right center again? And, Frelick caught it in front of the wall this time. It was not going to be a home run, but, that's
I loved Wayne Randazzo's call. Randazzo's call said, "How dare you?" Like when he jumped up and got another one. How dare you? Tyler Anderson was really great last night, Johnny, and you made a point when you talked about this game yesterday and posted on social media. This is why you can't fully judge a pitcher on wins and losses, because he pitched a heck of a game. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 5 Ks. John, get these numbers. With a 2.48 ERA in 15 starts, Tyler Anderson is the 14th pitcher in Angels franchise history with an ERA below 2.5 in his first 15 starts of the season. The other two guys, well, the first one's pretty easy. The other one's your favorite. Shohei Ohtani did it in 2022. And Jared Weaver, he did it 3 times, 2006, 2011, and 2012.
What's he doing late? Can we get him back? Can he start some games for us? His fastball, he doesn't need a fastball.
Right.
Anderson didn't need one either.
No.
So that bumps Tyler Anderson to 6-7 on the season. It was tough to lose this one, Mike, but the Angels ran into some really good starting pitching from Freddy Peralta, who he's had some stinkers in the last couple of games, but overall, he's the ace of their staff. Now that Corbin Burns is gone and off with the Orioles, it's Freddy Peralta's game, and we're all just living in it. And so for 6 innings, he kept the Angels scoreless, and then the bullpen came in and kept the Angels scoreless. The best chance the Angels had to score came in the 6th inning after Rengifo reached on an infield single. It moved to second on a balk call. I didn't really see where that balk call was, but I'll take it. I'll take it. Pilar then walked. Both runners moved to second and third after Peralta threw past second base. He was trying to pick off Rengifo there.
Now, can I just be nitpicky for a moment?
Of course.
The Angels lost. It's our job to be nitpicky. Rengifo, what are you doing off the bag that far? I mean,
he got fooled, man. He was going on the movement and he got fooled.
If that was a good throw, he's out. And so you're already at second. 100%. You already have the speed, and it's those bonehead type of moves, right, that get the Angels in trouble. It didn't hurt them last night, but it's one of those plays where you're like, dude, just wait. Like if he hits the ball, you're gonna score. It's gonna be fine. But what are you trying to get to third for? Pad your stats. I'm not sure what he's trying to do there.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was a moot point because it was neither here nor there. But I was talking to the TV last night, and my wife was wondering who I was talking to, and so I was talking to Luis Rengifo. Get that.
That happens in my house too. My wife is, who are you talking to? Are you talking to the dog?
It's in our DNA. It's our brothers.
That's
DNA.
Right. You were right, Mike. It's a moot point because Logan O'Hoppe grounded out to second base to end the inning. Did not have a great night at the plate at all. He had the Mike Trout DH effect, where if they're not playing the field, then they're not good at the plate either. Wash said that the young hitters had struggled in big moments, and we saw that last night, especially in this at bat. And that's the reason why he's kept them out of the cleanup spot or those crucial spots where the young guys often would want to be in those big moments. But that's why they haven't been there yet. And man, there were so many fly ball outs to the warning track. I thought that last out, I thought Matt Thaiss got a hold of it, and I saw that he showed some emotion. I realized in the next split second that it was frustration because he knew he flew out. But Joe Adell got a hold of one that was like warning track. Taylor Ward, of course, I mentioned that already. And so it just seemed like everything died in that stadium tonight. Was it the marine layer? Is that what we used to say is the problem?
Well, that was Torrey Hunter. Torrey Hunter said about Angel Stadium is that it's hard to hit at night because of the marine layer. I don't know how much of that is true or not, but here's again, I'm nitpicky, but here's what I noticed about that at bat with Logan O'Hoppe with those runners on. He was trying to pull a lot of pitches that were out across the plate, and he was swinging to try to pull them. And there was one foul ball that if he made contact, it would have been right center. It would have scored both of the runners, but he tried to pull it and he hit it straight back. So he missed it. And that's, I think, why Wash really struggles with who he puts in those cleanup spots. And I saw that with O'Hoppe last night. Maybe it's the DH effect. Obviously we love Logan O'Hoppe, but the reality is that he's got to come through in those moments, and at least he made contact. I will give him that, because often the Angels will swing and miss in those big moments and not come through.
Well, he did strike out twice before that big at bat as well, and it's
a shame. Have to bring that up. You made me look like a fool.
It's a shame, Mike, because the offense the last two nights has been a huge bummer, because the young Angels have been playing well in June, and our friend Sister Swilly over at Swilly Sports pulled these stats yesterday. Zack Netto since June, 250, 283 on base, 536 slugging, 819 OPS with a 125 weighted runs created plus. That's 25% better than league average. Nolan Shawnuel, a 265 average, 377 on base, 490 slugging with an 867 OPS and a 143 weighted runs created plus. Logan O'Hoppe, and this is why it was so disappointing, because you wanted him to be clutch. 378 batting average, 404 on base, 644 slugging, a 1,049 OPS with a 195 weighted runs created plus. Mike, that's almost 100% better than league average. He's almost at 200 with that 195 weighted runs created plus. So just a disappointing night all around. But I don't want to hear any more about, well, Patrick Sandoval doesn't win any games and da-da-da-da. If you're looking at wins and losses to judge a baseball pitcher, especially a starting pitcher, then go back to the 1980s where all that stuff mattered. Because in this day and age, you've got to look at what they're doing well. And that's honestly what we try to do on the show a lot, is try to explain those underlying metrics and those numbers and those things that indicate that this guy's probably better than the top line stats that you're used to would indicate. And that's why we do the deep dive into the numbers. And look, some of the deep dive numbers on Tyler Anderson, they're not great.
Yeah.
You know, like you talked about his FIP the other day and what he's able to control in terms of fielding independent pitching. Well, that's pretty high, because he does give up some hits and he does give up some walks, but then he's always able to pitch around it.
Yep.
And that's how you use these things in tandem to say, well, he does have a 2.48 ERA, so he must be getting around that really high FIP because he's obviously having success out there. But man, this game epitomized why you don't go off wins and losses, because Tyler Anderson absolutely did not deserve to lose this one. And Mike, they had all 9 innings to come back.
Yeah.
It was 1-0 in that first inning.
Yeah.
Kevlar made that sweet diving catch to get Tyler Anderson out of the inning. And so it's just a shame that this is what it came down to.
Well, and you called it on the show yesterday. You said this is probably going to be a pitcher's duel, right?
Yeah.
Because both of these pitchers are really good, but Peralta's numbers coming in were not good. And so that was the unfortunate side of the things, is that, of course, the Angels help him to get right. And he looked really right last night. And they weren't able to really do much against him at all, having him on the ropes only maybe once or twice in this game. But the dude was really cruising through most of the first 5 to 6 innings, and to not give Tyler Anderson any help. And he gave up the sac fly in the first inning, and that was all that he did. I mean, that was all that he did, right? And so to be able to be the tough luck loser here is a bummer, because he's been our best pitcher, and we haven't had a pitcher like this since Shohei, right?
Trade
like outside of Shohei.
Trade him. Trade him.
It's time.
Trade him.
It's time. Right. So do you wait until the trade deadline, or do you think that his value is not going to get higher than it is right now?
I could see them waiting until the trade deadline, at least after the All-Star break, because he's definitely going to be the Angels' representative if nobody else gets selected to the team. Every team gets a representative, and I think Tyler Anderson's going to be that guy going into the season. Mike, it's funny that Christmas in June is coming up at Angel Stadium, because last night was a silent night for the offense, and we hope that doesn't happen again. Hey, thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. The Angels are playing the Dodgers in Los Angeles on Friday, 7:10 Pacific time. You can catch every pitch of the Angels' hometown broadcast on SiriusXM with the SXM app. All you got to do is search Angels. Coming up on Locked On Angels, we've got Dr. Andrew Top Plays with us. He's going to tell us a bit more about what's going on with Mike Trout's injury, and we'll get into that in just a minute.
Every Day or Today's show is brought to you by our friends at Tax Network USA. Just because tax season is over doesn't mean that the IRS is not going to continue to come after those unfiled taxes. They're coming after you. And we're not talking about the Hall of Famer WWE wrestler IRS. We're talking about the real IRS. And they can garnish your wages. They can levy your bank accounts. They can even seize your property, so don't let them target you. Let licensed professionals and tax experts at Tax Network USA go to bat for you. With over 14 years of good experience, great experience, and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, Tax Network USA has saved clients over $1 billion in tax debt. That's a lot of money. Whether you owe taxes, have complicated matters that require tax planning like John and I do, or maybe you finally hit that parlay this season and you need some help correctly filing that, call 1-800-549-1000 or visit their website, tnusa.com/lockedon. And Locked On Angels is also brought to you by Policy Genius. They are the smarter way to buy insurance. Their proprietary technology makes it easy to compare personalized quotes and policies from top-rated insurers side by side. Policy Genius has a great team of licensed experts that are there to answer any of your questions, handle paperwork, thank God, because paperwork is terrible, or help you to make decisions with great confidence. They work for you. They don't work for the insurance companies. So from exploring coverage options to make policy adjustments as your life changes, Policy Genius is your advocate every step of the way. And they're committed to keeping your information secure. Their security is top-notch, and your security is their priority. They use industry-leading security practices to keep your information safe. So check life insurance off your list in no time with Policy Genius. You can head to their website, policygenius.com/LockedOnMLB. When you go to that website, they're going to know that you came from Locked On Angels. So visit their website, policygenius.com/LockedOnMLB.
This is the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. And everydayers, if you haven't done so, check out Locked On Sports Today. It's a 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed just for you to bring you the top stories across the sports world from the experts of the Locked On Podcast Network. It brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, news. It's streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. And speaking of your team every day, the Angels are playing the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium Friday, 7:10 Pacific time. You can catch every pitch of the Angels' hometown broadcast just by searching Angels. Mike, it's a pleasure and a privilege to welcome in our friend, Andrew from Angels Top Plays. And we're going here. We're going to do a little as I change the background here. There we go.
Yay,
Dr. Top Plays. How are you?
Here we are, Mike and John.
Can we still talk to you, even though you're a doctor now? I mean, man. And you're a married man, too. You got married.
I am a married man.
Let's go. Look at
us.
A
new coat and a new ring.
I love it. I love it.
And a nice Angels hoodie there, bro. I like that.
This is my favorite. It's my go-to.
That's great. Do you operate with that, or do you not? Do they allow you?
I'll wear it out of the hospital.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go. Well, Andrew, you're here with us on this episode because I feel like there's a dialogue going around. What the heck has taken so long with Mike Trout's injury and the recovery time?
Yeah, fair question. Loaded question. And so I kind of wanting to start simply here and talk about, first of all, Mike Trout's injury. So he had a meniscus tear. And so just starting off very simply, what's the meniscus? I think to understand why he's still in so much pain and why he hasn't been able to return even to running yet after 6 weeks, we need to look at that first. So the meniscus itself is a C-shaped little disc inside your knee, essentially acts as shock absorption. So if you imagine kind of shock absorption on a car, that's what the meniscus does for the knee. Our knees, as many, including even myself, we get knee pain, and the meniscus helps kind of absorb that energy and help avoid causing that knee pain and the bones kind of hitting each other.
Now I'm starting to worry about my meniscus because I'm like, how's my shock absorption? Ah, man, I got this standing desk now, so I'm like, I'm all about it.
After this conversation, you're going to realize, man, my knee's kind of sore. Always happens.
I'm just wondering if this is going to be on the test. Is this going to be on the test?
Yeah.
I'll send you links later for the
Thank you.
But so that's the job of the meniscus. Its job is to absorb the energy. The bones themselves of the knee and in general are not necessarily built to absorb the energy that kind of goes to the knee. And so we get a little meniscus in there, and that's what its job is. Now, Mike Trout's case, he's torn that meniscus, which is going to impair his ability to really absorb that force, absorb the energy in the knee. And that's painful because when the meniscus doesn't take on that energy, the bones then take on that energy. And that's kind of where that pain really comes from. And so confusing in Mike Trout's case, and he's even confused about, is when did he tear it? How did he tear it? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of one of the confusing, kind of frustrating parts of this injury. I mean, I remember, I'm sure you guys remember when you also found out that Mike Trout's got a torn meniscus and needs surgery. It really came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Which can be super common for these meniscus tears, where they might be torn and then kind of take some time before it really starts to become painful, or just a little kind of twist of the knee is enough to tear it enough to actually cause some pain. Hard to say what happened in Mike's case, but likely happened kind of somewhere in the field. That tends to be in baseball players. The most common place is during kind of a fielding event or a fielding drill is where they're tear their meniscus. Can happen while base running, can also happen while hitting, but most commonly in the field for a baseball player, kind of that cutting and pivoting action. And so from there, you need to then decide, is this a surgical problem or can he kind of take care of this without surgery and kind of take some time to rest?
Right.
He, of course, chose surgery. And it's kind of, all this is really hard to even, all this, when it comes to specifically talking about Mike Trout, is kind of speculation. We only have the details that we've been given publicly.
Yes.
And so in his case, though, there's options where you can actually go in and repair the meniscus, and they kind of throw a stitch in, like kind of a stitch that you would put on skin when you get a cut, or they can go in and kind of just trim up the meniscus, and they kind of just clean it and smooth it out. In his case, it seems like from what's been reported that he just went in and had smoothed it out, did not have it repaired. And that usually is just dependent on the kind of type of tear and how bad the tear is. And it's usually encouraging if they don't have to repair it. Kind of tells us where the tear is. It's in possibly kind of a less kind of significant spot, and it's not as big. So when I initially heard that news, I was pretty encouraged that, he'll be back kind of within 6 to 8 weeks. But now where we're at now,
right,
6 week mark, and he's not running yet, and he's still complaining of pain. It seems like with kind of just his rehab exercises. So then the question, now back to the original question after all of that.
Right.
Now that you've gotten your quick lesson, is why, right? Why is he still feeling pain? Again, outside looking in, so we can only speculate. But one is, so, doing some reading kind of on meniscus injuries in baseball players specifically.
Mm-hmm.
The average, or kind of not the average, the median return time is usually 6 weeks. They did a study on professional baseball players, and it was 42 days, which I think we might be exactly at. We're really at that 6-week mark, and Mike Trout, again, not really had made a ton of progress. But even in that study, there was a lot of range. The truth of these injuries is that there's a lot of variability in the tear. There's a lot of variability in how the knee is strained, that it can be quite simply is that he's just taking more time to recover.
Right.
And it's just kind of the normal progression of his body and of his knee and of his injury. That's kind of the simplest explanation. Now there's other things that could be involved. He might be having kind of a more inflammatory response. And this is something he mentioned in his interview the other day, in that he just kind of noted that after certain exercises, he's still feeling inflammation.
Right.
And that could just be, again, the way his body responds. We do typically know Mike Trout, remembering his wrist from last year and his calf from the year before.
Yes.
When it comes to these scales of how long these injuries take to recover from, Mike Trout tends to find himself on the longer end of that scale.
Yeah,
he really does. It seems like it takes a while for him to recover. I mean, we were talking about the calf injury from 2 years ago, and it took him out for the season at the end of the day. And then the back stuff that he was dealing with in 22, well, he comes back and, hey, I'm going to hit 40 home runs for the season. And that's what he does. So, that's kind of the urgency in getting him back. But also at the same time, at this point, it feels like just take your time, Mike. No need to rush back. I mean, with the time that he's taking to get better, obviously they're trying to take it slow. They're trying to make sure he's healthy. Is there a risk in bringing him back so soon, or maybe before he's ready? Because I know that's something he said he doesn't want to do this time.
Yeah, and there always is, especially, sports medicine, your goal is really to preserve the player's ability to play sports long-term, especially in a guy like Mike Trout, where he's in his age 32 year. Every year after this kind of gets progressively harder on the body, and we still need him for another 7 years on his contract, I believe. And so there's still the thought that you want to bring him back when he's perfectly ready. And there's a lot of factors to that. There's the biological factors of his ability to heal. There's also kind of the psychological factors. Is he, what's his pain tolerance, kind of how much pain is he able to push through? Does he want to push through pain? If the answer is no, of course, like you said, why blame him? There's not a whole lot to play for this season. He's got, his wife and kids at home and a whole long life ahead of him. There's no need to really beat up that knee.
And another baby on the way, too.
Another baby on the way. So are those factors at play as well? It's hard to say, again, outside looking in. But all things that could be considered when trying to answer the question, why is he kind of taking what seems to be a longer than expected time to really get back to playing on the field?
Based on the limited knowledge that we have, and in your expert opinion, when do you think Trout does return? What's the timeline, do you think?
Expert opinion is still a stretch. Don't give me that.
Come on, buddy.
All right, you're back to Angels top.
I am going to get there. I'm going to get there. I have a lot to learn over the next few years. Hopefully my analysis and insights get a little more in depth and even better and better. That's my goal for you guys.
Nice.
For me to be able to come with that. But he's at this stage where he hasn't even run yet.
Yeah.
So that's really the first. Just jogging, getting on a treadmill is going to be the first step, and feeling that impact in the knee. And then in baseball specifically, you have to look at those kind of more baseball specific demands. There's running itself, swinging. It's his left knee. So that's kind of his plant when he swings, and kind of that knee itself undergoes a lot of torque and twist when he makes a swing. If you just watch a swing, and then kind of you watch that whole entire leg really torque and twist. So that's something else that's going to have to be considered. Timeline wise, if he were to start running tomorrow, you're still probably looking at 2 to 3 weeks before returning to baseball. And then, of course, as this time goes longer and longer, you start having to ask the question, does he need a rehab assignment and play a few games probably in the Inland Empire? And then how much, it feels like every day that goes on, you kind of add more time on to how much time it's going to take to get back to MLB ready play.
Right. Well, Andrew, thank you for stopping by. This is really informative. We're going to be having Andrew on several times throughout the season, just with different medical updates. We'll probably talk Trout again if he isn't back by a certain time, but
hopefully he's back.
Yes, hopefully. We're all Angel fans here, and some of us are doctors and some of us play them on TV. But Andrew's a real doctor. So Andrew, thank you for being here with us, my friend.
Appreciate you guys. It was really, really good to see you, and hopefully we'll get to catch up soon.
Good to see you too. All the best to you.
Bye, guys.
Hey, Locked On Angels is brought to you by our friends at Stitch Fix. It's time to upgrade that wardrobe, Jonathan, and you can throw out those old T-shirts and worn-out pants and let your friends at Stitch Fix help you to look good. With Stitch Fix, it's easy to upgrade your style with the help of a professional stylist.
That's what I like right there.
I love this. They are going to help you find new on-trend favorites that work for you. So here's how it works, the basics of it, the details of it. Just give Stitch Fix, the stylist, your size, the style, and the budget preference. And then they're going to send you 5 just for you pieces, plus outfit recommendations and pro styling advice. That's perfect. 5 pieces, John. That's 5 of 7 days. And you can wash it and rewear the 2 that you wore earlier in the week. This is awesome. I love Stitch Fix. Let's do this. So you keep what works, you send back what you don't like. And the good news, shipping, returns, exchanges, all free. There's no subscription required. They make it really easy for you. No need to go shopping around and looking around. Who wants to do that anyway? So save time and effort and order from Stitch Fix. And now's the best time to get started at stitchfix.com/MLB. You're going to get $100 off. That's $25 off your first 4 fixes. It's for a limited time, so visit stitchfix.com/MLB for $100 off. And when you do, you must redeem it within 7 days of sign up.
Mike, you and I had a conversation a few weeks ago about Zack Netto, and we were talking about how I think he cranked a home run without using the leg kick. And you and I were kind of thinking, does he need the leg kick? Is that something that's going away? And then, of course, he's hit home runs with and without the leg kick, but we finally got some insight into how he's been handling that this year. Jeff Fletcher of the OC Register talked with Zack Netto about his leg kick when he's hitting. Netto said one of the first conversations he had with the new hitting coach, Johnny Washington, was that it was about picking his spots to change the way he uses the leg kick. The shortstop said that he went along with the plan until the season started, and then he said, I kind of went away from it. I was just doing what I wanted to do, and that didn't work out for me. We've all been there, Zach. Yep. Don't worry. But Neto began the season hitting 167 and a 449 OPS, no home runs in his first 79 plate appearances. But then, tell us what he's done since then, Michael.
Yeah, since then, 289, 8 home runs, an 853 OPS. And one of the changes that sparked that turnaround, according to Neto, was he's changing the way he uses his leg kick. So now each time Neto goes to the plate, he and Johnny Washington determine if this is a spot to begin an at-bat with his 2-strike approach. So essentially, leg kick or no leg kick.
Yeah.
What do you think, Coach? Last season and the start of this season, he was using the kick pretty much whenever. And then when 2 strikes happened, he would ditch the leg kick.
Right.
And would go to more of a Shohei Ohtani-esque type of approach.
The toe tap. Yeah. There was a great side-by-side floating around from Bally Sports. It was floating around Twitter just the other day. I think they showed it on the broadcast too, but yeah, a little toe tap action going on with Zack Netto.
Yeah, so he said he's most likely to scrap the leg kick when he's facing a pitcher who is particularly quick to the plate or they're doing a slide step.
Yeah.
And then he also said he could skip it when he has a 2-strike approach if there's a runner at third and he wants to be sure to get the ball in play. He also said that when he's facing a pitcher with a tough out pitch, he doesn't want to see a leg kick at all with 2 strikes. Neto said, I'm picking my pitches on when I should and when I shouldn't use it. I'm just learning along the way.
Yeah, and Washington said that sometimes Neto even changes on the fly. Even now, Washington said there's some at-bats where he'll start off with a leg kick and he'll immediately change it due to the tempo of the pitcher. We saw that a couple of weeks ago on the Fox broadcast. There was somebody who was kind of messing with Neto's timing with their own leg kick. And the example I'll use is how Tyler Anderson kind of has that triple leg kick that he does. Well, I forget who it was on the mound, but it was the national game. And it really threw off Neto's timing. It really shouldn't have, but that was kind of where this conversation began of, does he still need it? And it seems like picking his spots has really worked out. Now, the game situation, the state of the game also plays a factor in there as well, and also what kind of stuff the pitcher might have, whether it's a guy with carry or sink or different characteristics. Wash continued. He said the whole idea is what gives him the best chance to put the ball in play.
He also said that the change in approach, this is Johnny Washington, the change in approach is a good sign for Neto's ability to adapt as he becomes a more prone to knowing what pitchers are throwing and a better big league hitter. Washington said he's learning who he is and what he's capable of. He's starting to find some traction on what he can possibly do and how he can be effective offensively, what the floor or ceiling might be for him offensively. And Washington said it's been fun to watch.
Yeah.
And he hopes that he'll continue to grow and learn from each at bat. And you're seeing that, John, in last night's game and in the previous games. And again, it's interesting that Zack Netto, now that he's not throwing the leg up there, it's very similar to that Ohtani leg kick. And then there's some video of Ohtani and Zack talking last year about all of that. So all of this to say, could this be the kick that launches Zack Netto into superstardom, John?
I'm not gonna face palm like you do with my dad jokes. Yeah, you know what, Mike? It's great to see that Neto has been adjusting, and I appreciate the fact that he admitted, right from the get-go, I got away from what Johnny Washington told me to do. And we saw the results of that. We were all kind of very concerned for Neto to start this season. But I, once again, am glad to see, and you mentioned this the other day, even if we didn't see the changes even if we didn't hear about the changes with Mickey Moniak, we see the results on the field. Yeah. And the same thing goes with Zack Netto. Even if we didn't have this article, you could tell that something's going on behind the scenes. And it brings me so much joy when there's obvious work being done, there's obvious changes being made, and it's obvious that the coaches are working with these guys, that they're helping develop these guys. And that's why these guys need a full season in the majors to figure these things out. Because maybe Neto is down in AA and still using that kick the way that he was, or operating the way that he was before Washington told him to be more selective about it. And look, I know developing at the major league level is not the easiest, nor is it always the smartest. But as Angel fans and as fans who watch this team, it is great to see Neto make these changes on the fly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really excited about the fact that he is not just performing, but that he's recognizing why he's performing.
Yeah, totally.
And that's huge, because if you don't know why something is working while it's working, you won't know how to fix it when it's broken.
Yeah, right? Totally.
And so that's what I love about all of this, is that Neto's like, oh, I guess if I did this, and I guess if I didn't do that, it's going to help me hit the ball down the third baseline, or hit the ball to right field, or knock that runner in. I love that mentality, and I love that Johnny Washington is helping instill that in Neto.
That's a great phrase. You don't know what's not working until you know how it works. I think you hit the nail on the head, my friend.
Hey, thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. The Angels play the Dodgers in L.A. on Friday at 7:10 Pacific time, and you can catch every pitch of the Angels' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Angels.
Don't you mean the Los Angeles DirecTVs? Because that's what their new City Connect logos look like. Hilarious. Hey, you can catch every pitch of the broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Angels. But you can follow us on Twitter at Locked On Angels, and also at Super Halo Bros on Twitter and Instagram. Mike, there's an off day today. No Angels baseball. So what do we have on deck for tomorrow's show?
We've got Luther Vandross coming. We got Fan Mail Friday. Fan Mail Friday is happening tomorrow. So get your questions to us. You can give us a call. Our number is in the description. Leave us a 30-second voicemail. We'd love to hear from you. All questions, everything is on the table. We would love to talk about that with you tomorrow on Locked On Angels.
Looking forward to your guys' questions, and we love Fan Mail Friday. It's one of our favorite days of the week. All right, friends, until tomorrow's show, my name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
Thanks for being here with us, and we'll see you back here on Friday.
Luther Vandross and Aaron Neville. Like they're sneaky good. Not many people talk about it.
Kisses from you.